Hello everyone, this is Mrs. Dipti Kulkarni, lecturer, Department of Physics, KLS Kokte PU College of Commerce and Science, Belgavi. In the last video, we discussed about the Gaussian theorem. In this video, I am going to discuss applications on Gaussian theorem and some concepts which are related to Gaussian theorem. Let us begin with continuous charge distribution. How charges are distributed on different spaces or area. Okay. It is the system of closely spaced charges. There are three different types of charge distribution. First one, line density of charge or linear density of charge, which is denoted by the symbol lambda. It is the charge per unit length of a wire. Okay. So, the formula for this is lambda is equal to Q divided by L. Q is the charge, okay, of the wire, and L is the length of the wire, and SI unit of this is coulomb per meter. Second one, surface density of charge or area density of charge, which is denoted by the symbol sigma. It is the charge per unit area of a conductor. It is given by sigma is equal to Q divided by S, where Q is the charge, S is the area of the conductor. Suppose if we consider a small piece of the conductor, then how we calculate the area of that conductor, no? So, that area is nothing but this S, okay, and SI unit is coulomb per meter square. Third one, volume density of charge. It is charge per unit volume of the conductor. It is given by rho is equal to Q divided by V. V is nothing but what? Volume. And SI unit is coulomb per meter cube. So, how the charges are distributed on the different shapes of the conductor. So, to understand that, we require all these information. Okay, lambda for linear density, sigma for the surface, okay, and then our area density. Third one is rho, that is for volume density. So, these three are important points to remember how the charges are distributed. Next one, application. Okay, first application. Let us understand first application based on the Gaussian theorem. Already we discussed in the previous video what is Gaussian theorem and as well as electric flux. Electric flux is denoted by the symbol phi. Okay, and Gaussian theorem is nothing but what? In a closed surface area, suppose number of electric field lines are passing through that, okay, then the net charge phi is equal to total flux is equal to 1 divided by epsilon naught times of net charge, or phi is equal to Q divided by epsilon naught. And then what is the flux? Just now I discussed. Flux is nothing but it is denoted by the symbol phi. This type of symbol we are using to denote what? Flux. Okay. So, number of electric field lines, suppose if they are passing through the closed surface area, then that is called electric flux. Then Gaussian theorem, phi is equal to electric flux, phi is equal to Q divided by epsilon naught. Okay. So, you have to remember these two. Based on these two concepts, we are going to learn the applications. And what is the formula for the flux? Phi is equal to summation of E dot ds. E is electric field, ds is surface area or area element. Okay. Now, first application, electric field intensity due to an infinitely long straight charged wire. Consider the long straight wire. Okay. So, both side, now here this is minus infinity, this is plus infinity, means we can extend up to infinite range. Okay, we can extend both the ends, at both the ends we can extend. Okay, and it is a straight wire which is positively charged conductor. Okay, and this is a cylindrical surface, this is imaginary surface. That imaginary surface is nothing but it is a Gaussian surface. What is Gaussian surface? We know closed surface area, imaginary surface area is called a Gaussian surface. Okay, now this R is the radius. Okay, this R is what? Radius of the cylindrical, the circular path or this circular face. Now consider a point A here, small element area on this Gaussian surface, that is A, towards this side, means this face. This is ds and this is E. Both are perpendicular here. So here at a point A means we are assuming this is a charge. So electric field line is always moving outward. Positive charge is outward. So this is the direction of electric field. And this is a normal. What is normal or area vector? We discussed in the previous video. So this is perpendicular line which shows a ds surface area with respect to the small area element. If we consider a small area element in this big Gaussian surface, similarly at this face also this is a ds and this is electric field E. Similarly cross section if we consider, okay, then this is a C point. So ds, this is ds, this is electric field. Here this face and this face both are similar. Okay, electric field and ds both are perpendicular with each other. 90 degree angle between these two is 90. Here also 90. Okay, but you just carefully see the angle between ds and E is 0 degree because ds is area element, E is electric field, both are in the same direction. Okay, angle between them is 0. Now let us consider Q is a charge enclosed by the Gaussian cylinder. So here charges are enclosed. Let lambda be the linear charge density on the wire. Just now we discussed linear density means, suppose if they consider the conductor as a wire, then the charges are distributed here. That is linear charge density, which is denoted by the lambda. Flux through end faces. End faces means this is one end face, this is another end face. Okay, is 0 because there are no components of electric field along normal. Why they are 0 here? Because we know that angle between these two is 90 degree. Cos 90 is 0. If I substitute that value in the formula, phi is equal to E ds cos theta. Okay, instead of theta, suppose if we write there E, okay, E ds cos 90, cos 90. Okay, so cos 90 is what? It is a 0. This is a 0. So at this face it is a 0. Similarly at this end face is also 0. Correct? But in this case the angle is 0 degree, not 90 degree. Here it is a 90 degree, here also 90 degree, but in this case it is 0 degree. That's why, so E dot ds cos 0, cos 0 is equal to 1. So E ds, the phi is equal to what? Phi is equal to E ds. Okay, in this case it is phi is equal to E ds. That is phi is equal to E into area. Okay, E into ds. So here the area, curved area surface is how much it is? Area is how much? That is a cylindrical area. So that is the reason we know the formula for the cylindrical. Okay, then that is 2 pi RL. phi is equal to E into 2 pi RL. Call it as equation number 1. But what we know from the Gaussian theorem? Gaussian theorem, phi is equal to Q divided by epsilon naught. Already we discussed this. Okay. But lambda is equal to what? This lambda is equal to what? This is a linear density of charge. Okay. Lambda is equal to Q divided by L. L is what? Length of this wire. Okay. This also we discussed in the previous slide. Therefore, or this implies Q is equal to, cross multiply these two, lambda into L is equal to Q. Substitute this Q value, okay, in this formula. Then phi is equal to lambda L divided by epsilon naught. Then you call it as, this is equation number 3. Next step, we have to compare equation number, you carefully see, this is equation number 3 and this is also for phi and this is a phi we know. From equation 2 and 3, from equation 2 and 3, next step, Q divided by epsilon naught is equal to lambda L upon epsilon naught. This is from what? From equation 2 and 3, where lambda is linear charge density. Therefore, what is this? Just now we know that from the from the Gaussian theorem, okay, from the Gaussian theorem, just now we discussed phi is equal to, from the flux, what we just now discussed, phi is equal to E into 2 pi RL. Instead of this Q by epsilon naught, shall I substitute this value here? Okay. If I substitute, instead of this Q by epsilon naught, if I substitute this value and then simplify, so E into 2 pi RL and RHS side as it is, this one as it is. Okay. Now which quantity get cancels here? This L and this L. Okay. Next, E is equal to, this E is equal to, if you take this 2 pi R this side, then 1 divided by 2 pi this epsilon naught and lambda divided by R. Okay, this is an expression. Or E is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught 2 lambda divided by R. Divide and multiply by 2 here. If you do not multiply, you can keep like this also, this is also correct. Or else if you want to express in this way, then here I just multiplied with the 2 in the denominator and multiplied with the 2 in the numerator. Okay. In vector form, vector E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2 lambda divided by R. So this is for the distance R, that is the reason R cap. Okay. So why we have to write R cap? We discussed already in the previous videos. It shows the direction of this E. The direction of electric field intensity is radially outward from the positive line charge. For negative line charge, it will be radially inward. So this is a note which is very, very important. Okay. So please read this carefully and remember. Next, second application, electric field intensity due to infinitely long thin plane sheet. Okay. Suppose if we consider a thin plate sheet here which is positively charged. Okay. Again same imagination. Okay. Instead of wire we are considering the plane sheet. Okay. Which is positively charged. Again in this we are assuming the Gaussian surface, imaginary surface. Okay. So this is one face which is having the radius R. So this is R. Okay. Similarly, this is another face. The radius is again it is R. Okay. Then what we will get here? Suppose if we consider at this face, this is A, okay, this is another face B. You just carefully see the electric field and ds, direction of the area element at B and at A, both are same at this face, okay, and this face. This is a cylindrical face, okay, cylindrical face. At this face and at here at this point it is same. Angle between these two is 0. Suppose if we consider here on a curved path cross sectional area, then this is the electric field E. Direction of electric field is here because the charge is at C point, it is outward. Electric field at A is outward, at B is also outward, okay. But what will happen to the area element here? That is perpendicular to electric field, okay, which is a normal. We call it as a normal, okay. Now from the Gauss law, what is electric flux and all we already discussed. So here I just derived the derivation by using the integration method. So you can solve the same derivation by using different method, okay. So integration is a very simple method to understand all these concepts, okay. So here integration of E ds, this is a total electric flux E dot ds. We know this integration over a closed surface area E ds is equal to E ds of one phase. So phase number 1, that is here, this is phase number 1. So with respect to this it is E ds. Phase 2 means at B point, that is E ds, integration over closed for the closed surface area, that is at B, that is nothing E ds. Similarly from the point C, E ds, okay. So this is total flux phi is equal to summation of all these three fluxes, okay. Now E ds is equal to, so here if we remove the dot, then cos theta we have to write. So here cos theta is 0 at this point A, at this point B, cos is angle is theta is 0, cos 0, okay. Similarly for the phase B, but what is the phase C? Definitely here between these two angle is 90 degree, right? So at this point it is 0, at A it is 0, angle between E and ds is 0, both are in the same direction. In this case at B also it is same direction, angle is 0, but in this case angle is 90 degree. So cos 0, and here it is 90 degree, okay. Now so EDS plus EDS, EDS plus EDS is equal to 2 EDS we will get, okay. This is 0, this term is 0. Why? Because cos 90 is 0, this entire term it will be 0. Therefore EDS is equal to 2E, this is 2E, simple addition 2E, okay, 2E into pi r square. Why pi r square? ds is pi r square, area, okay. So area formula we have to substitute here, okay. Now we know from the Gaussian theorem q divided by epsilon naught, phi is equal to q by epsilon naught, this expression we know, okay. Comparing that Gaussian expression with this expression, then q divided by epsilon naught. But what is q here? What is q? Q is nothing but what? Sigma pi r square, okay, sigma into pi r square. Surface density of charge, where sigma is what? Surface charge density or surface density of charge, okay, and epsilon naught as it is. Therefore now instead of phi in the previous slide we have taken here phi is equal to, this is what total, this phi is equal to, this is what phi, electric flux phi is equal to 2e into pi r square. If we compare this with the next step, that is this one, okay, then sigma pi r square divided by epsilon naught. Then so pi r square get cancels. What is remaining? 2e is equal to sigma divided by epsilon naught. Or if we take this 2 towards this side, then sigma divided by 2 into epsilon naught. Take this 2 here. Then E is equal to sigma divided by 2 into epsilon naught. In vector form, E of L means length of that imaginary surface, cylindrical surface, no? That is the reason E of L is equal to sigma divided by 2 epsilon naught into L cap. So it shows the direction, of course it is a unit vector, it shows the direction of what? Electric field. Okay. The direction of electric field intensity is normal to the plane and away from the positive charge distribution. For negative charge distribution, it will be towards the plane. So these are important points which you need to remember. Okay. So this is another expression which you have to, this last expression is E is equal to sigma by epsilon naught. This is the final expression which you need to remember for your competitive examination. Next, third one, last application, electric field intensity due to uniformly charged spherical shell. Okay, uniformly charged spherical shell here. Okay, so now suppose if we consider this is a shell, spherical shell, charges are distributed here and center it is O, and from the center point to the axis of rotation, this line, it is nothing but what it is, R. It is a hollow spherical shell. If we consider a point somewhere here, that is P. On the Gaussian surface, this green dot indicates that is a Gaussian, this is a Gaussian surface, imaginary surface. Okay. Now from this Gaussian surface to O is R. Okay, from this edge to, or from this P to O is R. This distance is, OP distance is how much? That is R. Okay. Now this is imaginary surface area, okay, from the Gaussian surface. Suppose if we consider the point here, we want to study the Gaussian surface or electric flux, okay, total electric flux, how much it is. To understand that, if we consider the point somewhere here, then the normal or area vector, of course it is a perpendicular line, we have to draw in this way to understand the direction of the surface. What about electric field? Of course it is a outward. Why? Positive charge, outward direction. Just carefully see, ds and E both are in the same direction. Angle between these two is 0. Again same theory which we discussed in the previous slides. So phi is equal to, this flux is equal to E ds cos theta, where cos theta is nothing but cos 0 here. Why 0? Because directions are here, direction of these two, it is the same. So cos 0 is equal to 1. If I substitute the value of this one in the equation number 1, then phi is equal to summation of ds. Why we have to take summation? We discussed in the previous videos that, so we can consider the points anywhere, surfaces anywhere. I can consider the surface here, I can consider the surface here. So after that we can add all these surfaces. Okay, so that is possible. That is the reason summation we have to consider. Next, if we substitute the value of this 0, okay, then how much we will get? 1. Okay, from the equation 1 it is phi is equal to E ds. The next step, if I take this E outside, then summation of ds. Call it as equation number 2, where ds is area of a spherical Gaussian surface. How much it is? Formula is how much? Area surface of the spherical shell, 4 pi r square. Okay. So from the equation 2, if I substitute this 4 pi r square in the equation number 2, then phi is equal to E into, instead of ds, what I have to substitute? 4 pi r square. Call it as equation number 3. But from Gauss law, what we studied? Phi is equal to q divided by epsilon naught. This is also phi, this is also phi. So we can compare here both the equations, equation 3 and 4. We get E into 4 pi r square is equal to q divided by epsilon naught. Both are for phi. This is a phi, this is also phi. So compare both these two. Next step, or if I take this 4 pi r square here towards RHS side, then E is equal to q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Since q is equal to sigma into 4 pi r square, this is what? Surface charge density. From that, this is sigma and this is area. Okay, this we discussed in the first slide. Okay, suppose instead of q, if I substitute the value in this way, then what we will get here? Instead of this q, if I substitute this sigma 4 pi capital R square, and 4 pi epsilon naught get cancels. Suppose if I substitute here 4 pi r square, okay, then this 4 pi r square, sorry, r square, capital R square, and this only this r square remains same, sigma remains same, 4 pi epsilon naught get cancels. Okay, so final expression is what? So this is the final expression. E is equal to sigma r square divided by epsilon naught r square. Now suppose here, if we consider the point on the surface of the shell, if we assume the point is somewhere here on the surface itself. In the previous slide, what you understood? Point somewhere P is here outside. Okay, but suppose if we consider on the same axis, on the same surface wall, then again same imagination, ds and E both are in the same direction. Okay, this is a flux formula. I applied here integration method. You can go for another method also. Okay, E ds is equal to q divided by epsilon naught. That is a flux from the Gaussian theorem. Okay, this is from the Gauss theorem. Now E, if I take it out, only ds is integrated part inside the integration sign. Okay, now what is ds? ds for this spherical shell is 4 pi r square. This RHS side as it is you have to keep, or E is equal to q divided by 4 pi capital R square. Then what is q? Just now we discussed. Substitute the value of q. Again same, E is equal to sigma divided by epsilon naught. So this is what? If the point is on the surface, if the point is on the surface of the shell. Okay, suppose if it is inside, if we consider the point inside the shell, of course this is a hollow, then you know that the charge inside the shell or the conductor is 0. If Q is 0, then E electric field is also 0. At a point B inside the shell, this is inside the shell, so this is a Gaussian surface, imaginary surface. Okay, now this is R from O to B. This OB distance or this distance is R. This is a point B. Again DS and E both are in the same direction, same assumptions. Okay, everything is same. Only what we are changing, the surfaces here. Earlier in the previous case we assumed the point here. Before that we assumed here that P point here. For the second case A here, and now inside we are assuming. From the Gauss law, same theory, phi is equal to integration over E ds is equal to Q divided by epsilon naught. E and ds both are in the same direction. Therefore, phi is equal to integration over E ds is equal to Q by epsilon naught. Now E we have to take it out, only ds is remaining, and RHS side Q by epsilon naught as it is. Again 4 pi r square, but here you just carefully see, I assumed R here. Why? Because this distance is R, OB distance is R, that's why it is R square, and the RHS side as it is. Okay. Now for total electric field E is equal to, you take this 4 pi r square here towards this RHS side, then 0 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Here this charge, it is 0. It will be 0 here. Why it is 0? Because inside the shell charge is equal to 0. If charge is 0, then electric field is also 0. Okay. Since Q is equal to 0 inside the Gaussian surface, okay, therefore E is equal to 0. So this is a third assumption. Okay, third assumption from the last Gaussian application. So this property E is equal to 0 inside a cavity is used for electrostatic shielding. So this is a graph. If we increase the electric field, then what we are observing, R decreases. If we increase the R, then electric field decreases, vice versa. Okay, so this is about the electric field and R, how both these two are related with each other. I hope you understood the previous videos and today's lecture video. So if you have any doubts, okay, or if you want to see further question and answers from the first chapter, please go through this link. Okay, thank you.